Hello friends of role-playing games. Today is a special video for me. This time I will be doing my first video in English for RPGs. I tried some years before to do videos in English about tabletop gaming and I wasn't quite satisfied. Though this will be a rough journey, at least for me and perhaps for you as a listener. Stay with me when we together travel beyond the borders of language and try to reach the lands of role-playing game. To help you to easily identify in my playing list if a video is in English or not, I will always wear this cap when the video is in English. You will see it in the thumbnails. So, now you know for what to look for. Let's start. Today's topic is improvisation as a GM. What is it and what makes improvisation so important for us as gaming masters? You can buy a very good adventure or invest a lot of time to make near perfect preparations for your next adventuring. But your players will always have their own minds, their own ideas, and they want to do what they think is right. So there will always be situations where you have to improvise. The smallest improvisation necessary will happen when a player character talks to a non-player character and asks him a question you haven't thought about. So you must at least improvise I don't care what you are asking me, or shut up and go away. So if you really feel uncomfortable with improvising, you can and should always start with dialogue. Try to improvise a dialogue for an NPC you haven't thought of. Just drop him in. He doesn't need or she doesn't need to be important. Let him say some words to the characters and look for the responses of the characters, of the players, and then react to their responses. This chain of communication will be an easy lesson in improvising. So, this might be your first exercise. After this first very easy exercise, we are going to talk about the basic ideas and concepts and sources of improvisation. What do I mean by this? I have written down 4 sources, 4 elements which will always happen in improvisation. They come from creativity research, they come from fictional writing. You can exchange improvisation with the word creativity, and those are scientific resources we can use as a role-playing gamer. Player? Role. Okay. I'll leave this in, I don't cut it out. First, knowledge. What does this mean? Perhaps you know the famous quote of Albert Einstein: imagination is more important than knowledge. Yes, that's right. But at the moment he said that quote, he already had a huge amount of knowledge behind him. When he showed his power of imagination by just doing thought experiments about relativity theory, he used his large amount of knowledge. Every person who works with creativity has to have a huge amount of knowledge in his special field if he wants to do something special. You can't improvise about elves if you have never heard about elves. You can't improvise about the hidden people of Takulolutes if you don't know what Takulolutes are. So you have to acquire some knowledge first, Then you can use this knowledge for your improvisations, to doing your own thing with the knowledge you have. The second source, and a very important source for improvisation, is your own experience. If you want to do vivid descriptions, you have to have some experience of your own with the thing you're talking about, the thing you want to describe. You have to imagine at least what feels like to touch, to reach out, to smell, to see, to hear what you're talking about, and describe those essential impressions. This will make your improvisation much more vivid and much more believable. So try to use your experience from last year. What was the most important experience for you in the last year? Can you somehow put it in your next RPG session when you need to improvise? Think about it. Another easy exercise to improve your skill in improvisation is exercising associations. What does it mean? Take a person, take a location, and take some action. Combine those three things so that a little story develops out of it. Then try to change the combination, the association between the three, or bringing another person and try to use the same location in the same action. Try to change perspective in your story. This can be a very interesting exercise to train your skill in improvisation. Or you use three totally random words: banana, man, moon. Now try to create a story out of how the moon and the man and the banana came together, what it's all about. So next time when you have to improvise in your RPG session, the players might give you a name, a person, and a location, and some thoughts about how those two might be combined and correlated together. Then you can use the ideas of your players, combine them, put in a third element, and present something new to them. The fourth point is about the use of inspiration and mood. Often when we talk about improvisation or creativity, people rely on, I need to be in the right mood, I need to have an inspiration to do it. Research says you're wrong. And most writers say you're wrong. You can train all of the above three things, and you also can try to create the right mood and the right inspiration. Think about of your next or last RPG session. In what mood were you in? What light did you use? Did you use any music? How do you talk to your player, and how did your players talk to you? This all creates a certain mood. When you're all giggling and laughing all the time, the ideas that will come to your mind will always be directed into the next joke. If you dim the light and talk with a deep and slow voice, and this is all about the next Cthulhu monster on the stairway behind you, you will have very different ideas in your head. Your players will have very different imaginations in their heads, and this will create a very, very different mood. This mood will generate new ideas, new imaginations when the story progresses. So use intentional the mood you create in a RPG session, and try this for inspirations for new ideas when you have to improvise. Let's be very honest. Haven't you already thought about people who were doing improvisation? How the hell are they doing this? I want to have the same gift. It looks like magic. It comes easy from thin air into their heads and out of their mouths. just like magic. Inspiration is an illusion. It needs preparation, and the four sources of improvisation can help you to become a magician of improvisation. So, try out those four sources and ideas. I will try to make more videos in English about improvisation. I already have done a video with English subtitles, the 7-3-1 rule, that helps you to create improvisation and prepare for improvisation before the session, so you can easily improvise in the session. If you liked the video, give it a thumb, subscribe to the channel, and please comment and share the video. So goodbye, and until next time. See you.